Chosen one. Listen carefully, because heaven remembers the moment it fell silent. The angels who had sung over you since your birth stopped mid-song, and all of creation turned to witness what you did. The throne room of heaven leaned in closer, not because of your perfection, but because of your obedience. You didn't wait for permission anymore. You stopped explaining your calling to those who could never understand it. You finally acted, and when you did, heaven gasped. For years, you walked in circles, questioning if you were truly chosen. You asked, "Why me?" while others seemed to move ahead effortlessly. But what you didn't see was that God was shaping you in secret. Every hidden season was preparation. Every unanswered prayer was a test of faith. Every moment you were overlooked was heaven's training ground for visibility. You weren't being ignored. You were being prepared. You see, heaven does not celebrate the loudest, the most gifted, or the most popular. Heaven celebrates the obedient. And when you finally stepped out in faith, when you said yes without a plan, without proof, without applause, heaven erupted in silence. Because awe has no sound, the hosts of heaven watched as you walked into destiny barefoot, trembling, yet determined. You broke the cycle. You refused to bow to fear. You did what hell never thought you'd do. You believed again. Beloved, this was never about who you were before. It's about who you chose to become now. The day you decided to act, the very atmosphere around you shifted. Chains broke that had been clinging to your family line for generations. The same curse that crippled others lost its authority the moment you obeyed. You didn't just take a step, you rewrote history. You gave heaven something to record. The angels had seen miracles before, but this one was different. This wasn't a healing of the body, it was a healing of faith. You stood when everyone expected you to collapse. You worshipped in the middle of your storm. You dared to dream again after disappointment had buried your hope. That's why heaven was shocked, not because you finally got what you prayed for, but because you finally became who you were created to be. Listen, chosen one, your act of obedience was not small. It was prophetic. Heaven measures victory, not by applause, but by surrender. When you whispered, yes, you released a chain reaction in the unseen realm. Doors began to open. Strongholds began to tremble. Demons that once mocked you now flee at the mention of your name because they recognize the authority you carry. The world may never understand what happened in that moment. They might see a simple post, "Acquiette décision," a small act of courage, but heaven saw warfare. Heaven saw faith. Heaven saw the moment a vessel turned into a voice. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans for a future and hope. And that, beloved, is exactly what you've stepped into. You are now living in the plan that once felt like pain. What once looked like rejection was simply redirection. The path that looked like loss was actually alignment. Heaven saw you walk into what was written long before you were born. You may not realize it yet, but your obedience became a key that unlocked doors generations before you could not open. Every no you received became a stepping stone toward the divine yes that was waiting on the other side. Heaven didn't delay you, it was positioning you for precision. And now, as heaven watches, your faith echoes across realms. The sound of your surrender travels farther than any sermon. Angels are assigned to the words you've spoken in secret, carrying them like fire to ignite the hearts of others who are still afraid to rise. So today, take this as divine confirmation. You are stepping into a new chapter written by your obedience. Don't doubt what God has already confirmed. Don't minimize what took heaven years to prepare. You are no longer the one waiting for validation. You are the one heaven validates. Now, let this be your moment to seal it in faith. If this word burns in your spirit, don't scroll past pause. Type the number 777 inches the comments as a prophetic sign that you receive this message. Then, like, share, and subscribe so that this divine message continues to reach other chosen ones who need to hear it. Heaven was shocked by what you finally did. Now it's time for the world to see why. Chosen one. The years of waiting in the shadows were never wasted. They were the divine classroom where heaven trained your spirit to endure what your flesh could not yet handle. Those long nights where you felt forgotten were sacred. They were not silence, they were strategy. While you thought heaven had turned its face from you, heaven was in fact building the foundation of something eternal inside of you. Every hidden season shaped your discernment. Every delay carved humility into your character. While others ran ahead, you were being refined in stillness. You wanted movement, but God gave you molding. You prayed for doors, but He built walls to protect, not punish. You cried because it felt like isolation, but it was incubation. Hiddenness is heaven's greatest protection for the chosen. You didn't know it then, but the shadows were your shield. They kept premature eyes from seeing what wasn't ready yet. They kept the enemy guessing. While you wrestled with doubt, angels were fortifying your destiny in secret. What you called loneliness was divine confidentiality. God was guarding your promise until you were strong enough to carry it. In that place of obscurity, your heart learned the language of heaven: patience, surrender, trust. You discovered that faith isn't built in applause, but in silence. You learned that not hearing God doesn't mean He's not speaking. It means He's training you to listen differently. Sometimes He hides to teach you to seek. Sometimes He delays to strengthen your endurance. And sometimes He closes every door so you can finally recognize the one who holds the keys. Beloved, heaven saw you when you wiped tears in secret. The throne heard the prayers you whispered into the dark, believing no one would ever know. The pain you felt was recorded in eternity. Every why you asked was answered in the language of purpose. Though you could not yet translate it, the delay was not denial, it was design. You had to be hidden long enough for the noise around you to die. Because had God elevated you too early, their opinions would have shaped your confidence instead of His voice. The silence was not rejection, it was refinement. Heaven trusted you with silence because it knew that your worship would survive even without rewards. You became a warrior in stillness. You fought invisible battles that others never saw. And now, every scar you carry glows with proof that you survived what was meant to silence you. You are no longer waiting in the shadows. The shadows are now waiting for your command. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, for it will surely come. It will not delay." Those words, written centuries ago, were living prophecy over your life. The appointed time was always coming. You simply had to be prepared for its wait. Heaven cannot release a crown to a heart that still fears rejection. You had to learn the rhythm of divine timing, the holy pause between promise and manifestation. There were days when you wanted to quit, to walk away, to settle for less because it seemed easier, but something inside refused to die. That something was the Spirit of the living God anchoring you to destiny. Even when your faith felt weak, His grip never loosened. You didn't hold on to God. God held on to you. Now, as you look back on those hidden years, you see the pattern, the losses that led to lessons, the silence that grew your strength, the unanswered prayers that redirected your path. Nothing was wasted. Heaven wastes nothing. Every wilderness becomes a weapon when the chosen one finally understands its purpose. So remember this truth. The waiting season was not punishment, it was preparation. You were being trusted with time. You were being equipped to handle visibility without vanity, influence without arrogance, and calling without compromise. Beloved, Heaven never forgot you. It was simply preparing the stage so that when you emerged, no man could take credit for what only God could do. And now, as light begins to find you again, remember where you came from. Let humility remain your crown, and patience your armor, for the same shadows that once hid you will one day highlight you. Chosen one. Every tear you've ever cried was not a waste, it was a prophecy. The very drops that fell from your eyes carried divine messages that heaven interpreted long before your lips could form the words. You thought you were breaking down, but in truth, you were breaking open. Every sob was a seed. Every sigh was a signal to heaven that you still believed. Even when your heart was shattered. Tears are sacred ink. They write prayers that your voice cannot express. They travel farther than words. For they come from the deepest chamber of the soul, the place where only God can hear. When you wept in silence, heaven recorded every moment. The angels gathered around the sound of your grief, translating it into the language of divine movement. Nothing you've cried over has gone unnoticed. The King of Glory bottles every tear as proof that your suffering was not in vain. There were nights you asked, "Why me?" Nights when disappointment sat heavy on your chest like a stone. Yet even then, heaven whispered, "You're still chosen." You were not crying because you were weak. You were crying because your spirit was stretching. The weight you carried was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to expand your capacity to love, to trust, to endure. When others mocked your sensitivity, heaven celebrated it. Because only those who feel deeply can hear deeply. Your tears were never a curse. They were confirmation that your heart still beats in alignment with God's. In a world that teaches numbness as strength, your vulnerability became your anointing. You didn't realize it. But every time you cried, something in the spirit realm shifted. Chain loosened. Walls trembled. The darkness that surrounded your soul began to crack under the pressure of your authenticity. Hell cannot handle a heart that still weeps before God, because tears are truth, and truth breaks yokes. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 56, verse 8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Oh, let that settle in your spirit. Beloved, every hidden heartbreak counted. Every secret ache documented. Heaven saw the betrayal, the injustice, the silent battles you fought when no one clapped for you. And while you thought you were alone, God was building your testimony. He was transforming lament into language, pain into prophecy. Your tears have built altars in places no human eye has seen. They've called angels into motion and birthed breakthroughs you won't even recognize until later. You were not just crying about your situation, you were declaring war against the forces that tried to end your purpose. Do you see it now? Those tears were the purest form of prayer. They cleansed your soul from bitterness and washed your spirit with humility. You came out of that valley lighter, wiser, and closer to heaven than ever before. Beloved, your tears were never weakness, they were water for the seeds of destiny. That's why the enemy fought so hard to harden your heart. He wanted you to stop feeling, to stop caring, to stop believing that love and mercy still existed. But you refused. You kept your heart soft when it would have been easier to become stone. You stayed tender when others grew cold. You kept loving even when it hurt. That's why you are dangerous to darkness, because a heart that still loves after breaking cannot be defeated. Now hear this. Heaven has begun to interpret your tears as transition. What once represented sorrow now signals rebirth. What once symbolized loss now announces resurrection. You are stepping out of mourning and into mission. The same eyes that wept will now witness miracles. And right here, beloved, I want you to pause. If this word resonates in your spirit, if something inside you whispers, "This is me," then I want you to write these words in the comments. I still believe. Write it not as an act of emotion, but as an act of prophecy. When you type it, you are declaring to every unseen power that your faith has survived the fire. You are saying, "My tears did not drown me, they baptized me." You are testifying that grief did not end your story, it simply rewrote it in heaven's language. You, chosen one, are the proof that beauty can rise from ashes, and that tears are not the end of prayer, they are the beginning of transformation. Heaven saw your tears, and they became the sound that shook eternity. Chosen one. There came a day when you chose obedience over opinion. The world shouted its suggestions. The people closest to you offered their fears as advice. And still, you turned your ear toward heaven and said, "Yes, Lord." That moment changed everything. Heaven took note. Hell trembled. Because obedience, true obedience, costs more than applause ever could. You had to silence the noise that came disguised as wisdom. You had to discern between good intentions and divine instruction. Obedience demanded you to move when it made no sense, to trust when there was no evidence, to walk forward while others stood still. The voice of God is rarely comfortable, yet it is always clear to those who dare to listen. And you listened. You obeyed. You broke the gravitational pull of people's expectations and stepped into the current of divine will. It wasn't easy, was it? The moment you chose to follow heaven's whisper, the opinions of others grew louder. Friends misunderstood your silence. Family questioned your choices. Some called it pride. Others called it foolishness. But heaven called it faith. You didn't argue back. You didn't need validation. You simply kept walking. Because you knew obedience is louder than explanation. In that sacred act of surrender, something powerful was born inside you. Spiritual maturity. Obedience matured you faster than blessings ever could. It forced you to trust God's timing, to live without answers, to act without applause. You began to understand that true faith doesn't always need to understand, it simply needs to follow. You see, beloved, obedience is not just about doing what God says. It's about becoming what He saw when He created you. Each act of obedience reshapes your identity, molding you into a vessel that reflects His will. The world measures success by visibility. Heaven measures it by surrender. There were moments when you felt the sting of loneliness after you obeyed. The path of the chosen is rarely crowded. You lost company when you gained clarity. But that's the cost of destiny. Obedience often separates before it elevates. Heaven had to remove the noise so you could recognize the melody of purpose. And though your heart ached, your spirit knew. Peace is better than popularity. When you took that step, when you said yes in the middle of uncertainty, you activated the impossible. Obedience opens doors that talent cannot. It invites miracles that logic cannot explain. You may not have seen it, but heaven began rearranging circumstances in your favor the very moment you surrendered. God's will became your compass, and His presence your reward. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Oh, that single truth defines your journey. You walked, not seeing the outcome, but trusting the author. You followed a voice others could not hear. And that made you appear strange to those still guided by sight. Yet, in the invisible realm, you were aligning with eternal purpose. You were stepping into rooms prepared before the foundations of the world. Beloved, obedience is not weakness, it's warfare. Every time you obey, you defeat 1,000 doubts. Every time you submit your will, you silence the enemy who thrives on disobedience. Hell cannot comprehend a soul that follows heaven's command, even when it hurts. That's why your obedience carries authority. It's forged through fire. And now, as you continue walking this narrow road, understand this: obedience is a lifestyle, not a moment. It's the rhythm of the chosen. You no longer wait for signs, you move by conviction. You no longer beg for reassurance, you rest in revelation. Heaven does not have to shout when your heart is already tuned to listen. You may still have unanswered questions, but your peace proves you are in the right place. The storms that once shook you now shape you. Every decision to obey is an altar. Every act of surrender a song. You are not chasing blessings, you have become the vessel through which blessings flow. And though obedience may strip away comfort, it clothes you with authority. Each yes builds a history with heaven, a record of trust that cannot be erased. One day you will look back and see that every sacrifice was sacred, every step was guided, every delay was protection. So, walk forward. Chosen one, keep obeying even when it costs you everything. Because in the end, you'll realize obedience didn't take from you. It delivered you. It set you apart. It made you dangerous to darkness and useful to heaven. Heaven is still echoing with the sound of that one moment when you said, "Yes, Lord." And from that yes, eternity began to unfold. Chosen one, this is the moment heaven calls the great reversal. It is the hour when what was spoken against you begins to turn back toward the source. Every word that was once used to wound you becomes a witness for your rise. Every closed door, every unjust hand that pushed you down, is now being used as a platform beneath your feet. You are stepping into the season where God's justice is no longer a concept, it is motion. Heaven has entered the courtroom of time. The verdicts once written against your name are being erased by the same hand that wrote mercy into your story. The accusations that haunted you are being silenced. You will not have to fight to prove your innocence. God Himself is your defense. The scales that once tipped against you are now balanced by divine intervention. The one who saw your endurance is about to display your vindication. It may have taken years, but the reversal has begun. Heaven moves slowly because it builds permanently. While people were writing you off, God was rewriting your ending. And now, as the tide shifts, those who once doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge that grace was at work all along. When the light of reversal comes, it doesn't just expose lies, it reveals truth. The masks fall off. Pretenders fade away. Every false narrative built against your name begins to crumble. Heaven is not just vindicating you, it's educating those who misjudged you. They will see that what they called failure was actually foundation. What they mocked as weakness was simply wisdom in disguise, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 7. Instead of your shame, you shall receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you shall rejoice in your inheritance, and so you shall inherit a double share of joy. And everlasting honor shall be yours. That is heaven's decree over you now. The very places that brought you tears will soon be the places that birth your testimony. You will stand in the same environment that once rejected you, and you will see favor unfold before your eyes. It will not be by force, nor by manipulation, but by divine orchestration. God Himself is orchestrating the turn. Beloved, imagine a river that once flowed away from you, carrying opportunity, favor, and connection in another direction. Now watch that same river reverse its current and begin to return what was lost. That's what heaven is doing. Every drop is coming back, transformed. The waters of sorrow are being rewritten into streams of rejoicing. The drought is ending. Your name, once whispered in gossip, will soon be spoken in gratitude. Your story, once marked by pain, will become a manual for others who are still wandering in their night. You are not just a survivor, you are a signpost of divine turnaround. Heaven's reversal isn't just for you, it's through you. What happens in your life becomes a message of restoration for others. The very wounds you endured will become windows of light for those who follow. You are becoming a living metaphor, a story of what redemption looks like in human form. Beloved, when God reverses your story, you will feel the pull of humility stronger than the pull of pride. You will not boast, you will bless. You will not avenge, you will forgive. Because true reversal isn't about proving them wrong, it's about proving that grace never fails. And as you walk through this turning season, let your heart stay tender. Remember the nights when no one clapped, the prayers that went unanswered, the times when you almost gave up. Remember them, not as wounds, but as witnesses. They testify that you endured without bitterness, that you waited without envy, that you stayed faithful when silence was the only response. That endurance is the oil heaven now pours on your head. If this message resonates in your spirit, let your heart respond not with noise, but with gratitude. Pause for a moment and breathe in the truth that heaven has remembered you. And if it moves you, share this word, the way one candle lights another. Someone else needs to know that reversal is possible, that the same God who turned your mourning into movement can do it again. So, chosen one, as you rise from the ashes of yesterday, carry this light forward. Tap like, not as an act of habit, but as a mark of agreement. Share it as a seed of hope. Subscribe so that you don't just witness one miracle, you journey through all that heaven still has to reveal. Because the story isn't ending here. The reversal is only beginning. Chosen one. The mark on your spirit has always been there. You may not see it when you look in the mirror, but the unseen realm recognizes it instantly. It is the invisible seal of heaven, the divine signature that separates you from the ordinary. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts not because of what you carry in your hands, but because of what rests upon your soul. From the moment you were chosen, heaven placed its imprint upon you. It wasn't given through ceremony or recognition. It was etched during your battles. Every hardship carved another line of authority upon your spirit. Every tear, every prayer, every yes whispered in pain became part of your divine identity. You were not just being refined, you were being branded by fire. The mark you bear is not one of pride, but of purpose. It carries a fragrance that darkness cannot imitate. The enemy knows who you are, even when you forget. That's why you've been fought so fiercely. That's why certain rooms feel heavy when you enter, because your presence disrupts the equilibrium of the unseen. You carry light that convicts shadows. You don't fit in because you were never made to blend in. You may have wondered why people react strangely around you, why some grow distant without reason, why the same environments that welcomed others seem to resist you. It's not rejection, it's recognition. The light in you exposes what others are still trying to hide. You are heaven's reminder that truth still walks the earth. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his treasured possession. And, beloved, that's you. You are heaven's treasured possession. You are not common. You are not replaceable. You are not a random soul drifting through the noise of this generation. You were marked for impact long before you understood the weight of your assignment. You were chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. This mark doesn't make life easier, it makes it heavier. The calling upon you will attract both divine favor and demonic resistance. You are a carrier of light in a world addicted to darkness. Your presence becomes a confrontation to those unwilling to change. But remember, you were anointed to stand, not to shrink. You were designed to shine, not to hide. The same mark that makes you different also makes you dangerous to darkness. Sometimes, beloved, that mark will feel like a burden. You'll feel misunderstood, even among believers. You'll crave rest from responsibility. But heaven will remind you, oil only flows through vessels that remain open. The mark is not punishment, it's partnership. God trusts you with it because he knows you will not use it for pride. You carry heaven's credibility because you've proven yourself in humility. When you walk through unfamiliar territory and feel unseen forces react, know that it's not fear, it's recognition. Hell knows your name. Angels recognize your scent. You have become a moving altar, a walking sanctuary. That's why ordinary rules don't apply to you. That's why what breaks others only bends you. You've been sealed with a covenant that cannot be revoked. Beloved, wear your mark with reverence, not arrogance. It's a sign that you've been entrusted with mysteries others have yet to encounter. It's the evidence that heaven has touched earth through you. And as you continue to carry it, you will find that your life itself becomes prophecy. Your very existence speaks, even when your lips do not. There will come a day when others ask how you endured, how you stayed faithful, how you kept your peace when storms raged around you. You will smile and know it wasn't strength. It was seal. Heaven had marked you for survival, and no storm could drown what was designed to float. This mark is not temporary, it's eternal. It glows brighter every time you choose faith over fear, truth over comfort, grace over bitterness. You were branded not by religion, but by revelation. Heaven's fire did not consume you, it commissioned you. And right now, as this message reaches you, something within your spirit stirs. You feel that invisible mark burn with fresh awareness. It is heaven's way of saying, I'm still with you. I never left. End quote. If this word resonates deep within your soul, then, as a prophetic act of acknowledgement, type the number 444 inches, the comments. This is not superstition, it's symbolism. 4 is the number of foundations, the number of divine order and completion. When you write 444, you're declaring that your foundation is secure in God, that your identity is no longer negotiable, that your mark is not a mystery, it's a mantle. Let your comment be your confirmation, because heaven already sees the glow upon you, and now it's time for the world to see it too. Chosen one. The assignment hidden in your pain was never punishment, it was preparation. Every wound you carried, every betrayal you survived, every unanswered question carved deeper meaning into your purpose. What once looked like chaos was actually the curriculum of calling. Pain was your teacher, and endurance became your diploma. You may not have seen it then, but heaven was orchestrating something precise. The ache in your chest, the loneliness that seemed endless, the silence that felt suffocating, all of it was shaping a message within you. Pain doesn't visit the chosen without permission. Every trial that touched you had to pass through divine approval. Heaven never wastes suffering. It recycles it into strength. Your greatest pain became the soil where your assignment took root. You were not being broken down. You were being built up, piece by piece, layer by layer. Every tear watered your future. Every disappointment became a doorway. Every heartbreak pushed you closer to divine dependence. When the world thought it was burying you, heaven was planting you. There were moments when you prayed for relief, and God responded with revelation instead. You wanted escape, He offered expansion. He didn't remove the storm, He taught you how to speak peace to it. You asked for lighter burdens, and He gave you stronger shoulders. This is the mystery of divine training. Heaven does not protect its chosen from pain, it purifies them through it. Beloved, think of gold. It shines only after enduring fire. The flame that consumes the worthless parts reveals the pure. So it has been with you. The pain you endured did not define you, it refined you. You emerged brighter, wiser, softer, stronger. The same fire that burned others built your brilliance. Every test that made you cry out, every night that ended in silence, every season where you felt forgotten, they were chapters in the hidden manual of your mission. You were being prepared for people who would one day need your story. The empathy you now carry wasn't learned from comfort. It was forged in crucible moments when you had to cling to faith just to breathe. The Apostle Peter reminds us in his first letter, chapter 1, verse 7, "These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold." That is the essence of your journey. Heaven allowed the refining not to expose your weakness, but to reveal your worth. The pressure you faced was not proof of abandonment, it was evidence of investment. God trusted you with trials because He knew your faith would survive them. You learned what few ever understand, that pain has purpose when surrendered to God. It teaches compassion without compromise, strength without pride, and endurance without bitterness. You began to see the world differently, not as a battlefield of losses, but as a garden of lessons. Every scar became a seed, every sorrow a source of wisdom, and as time passed, you realized something profound. The very people who wounded you taught you discernment. The betrayals taught you boundaries. The losses taught you loyalty. Even pain bowed to your destiny. Heaven used everything to shape your heart into a vessel wide enough to carry healing for others. Now, when you look back, the memories that once stung now speak. You can finally trace the hand of God through what once seemed senseless. You survived things that should have ended you, not by accident, but by assignment. Pain did not come to break you, it came to commission you. Beloved, your suffering was not meaningless, it was sacred. It birthed understanding. It gave your voice weight. When you speak now, heaven echoes through your words because your faith was tested in fire. You can comfort others not because you read about healing, but because you lived through the process of becoming whole. The assignment hidden in your pain is this: to carry light into the places that once held your darkness, to show others that wounds can become weapons of mercy, to teach that faith is not fragile, it is forged. Your journey was never about survival alone, it was about transformation. You were chosen to turn agony into authority. So do not despise the scars. Beloved, they are proof of purpose, fulfilled. Each one tells a story that hell hoped would end differently. But here you are, still standing, still believing, still glowing with the residue of glory. Your pain taught you how to see beyond yourself. It revealed heaven's pattern, that what hurts now will one day heal others. The same thorn that once bled you will soon bloom with beauty. You are the living evidence that God wastes nothing, not even tears. Chosen one, heaven saw you rise again. You were not supposed to make it. The weight of what you carried should have broken your mind, silenced your faith, and buried your fire. Yet, somewhere in the middle of the ruins, your spirit whispered, "Not yet." And that whisper reached the throne of heaven like a trumpet. The moment you stood up, all of heaven turned its gaze toward you. Angels paused their songs. The very air in eternity shifted, because resurrection, beloved, is not always about bodies coming back to life. It's about souls deciding to breathe again after disappointment has tried to bury them. You rose, not because it was easy, but because something divine inside you refused to die. When heaven saw you rise, it was not surprise, it was awe. The same God who spoke to Lazarus whispered your name in the darkness, and you answered. You may not have felt light enter the room, but it did. The grave that once held you, grief, fear, failure was left behind, open and powerless. You didn't climb out with applause, you crawled out with purpose. You carried your scars, but they glowed instead of bled. You became a living contradiction, weak yet unstoppable, wounded yet radiant, human yet holy. Your comeback was not dramatic, it was deliberate. Heaven loves quiet resurrections, the kind that happen without witnesses, where faith resurrects first, before circumstances follow. The Word of God declares in the Gospel of John, chapter 11, verse 25, Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live." That truth wasn't just spoken for a tomb 2,000 years ago, it was spoken for moments like yours. The same power that raised Christ lives within you. It does not rest, it revives. It finds the places in you that others declared finished and breathes purpose into them again. Beloved, when heaven saw you rise, it didn't just celebrate, it recalibrated. Your comeback triggered movement in realms unseen. Angels were reassigned. Promises that had been waiting for your surrender began to activate. You became a signal of revival to others still trapped in their own tombs. Your rising was never just about you, it was for everyone connected to your obedience. Do you remember the moment you felt the shift? The first time your laughter returned, the first breath that didn't carry pain? That was resurrection in real time. Heaven rejoiced. Not because you pretended to be strong, but because you allowed grace to hold you when you couldn't stand. The miracle wasn't in your perfection, it was in your persistence. There is something about a soul that refuses to quit. Hell can't comprehend it. The darkness that once rejoiced over your silence now trembles at your sound. You are the proof that God's promises don't expire. When life gets hard, they expand. You rose from the same ashes that once mocked you. And in doing so, you rewrote the atmosphere around you. You see, beloved, resurrection changes your spiritual fragrance. Those who once pitied you now perceive power. Those who doubted you feel conviction in your presence. The same energy that once attracted opposition now draws opportunities ordained by heaven. The hand of God has reintroduced you not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. Your rising also revealed what couldn't rise with you. Some relationships, habits, and patterns were meant to stay buried. The tomb you left behind wasn't just a grave, it was a filter. It separated what was divine from what was temporary. You didn't lose those things, you were liberated from them. And now, as you walk forward, don't look back. Graves have gravity, they pull with memories and regrets. But you were made for elevation, not excavation. What's behind you can't breathe your air. You are now moving in the oxygen of purpose, the rare atmosphere where faith becomes sight. The beauty of resurrection is that it leaves evidence, scars that no longer ache, stories that no longer sting. You carry both proof and promise. Proof that death couldn't hold you, and promise that greater things are still ahead. Beloved, heaven saw you rise again, and the earth is about to respond. Creation recognizes when something eternal stands up. That's why doors are opening. Favor is flowing, and peace is finally finding you. You have returned from what was meant to end you, and nothing will ever be the same again. You rose quietly, but heaven roared. Chosen one. The voices of doubt have finally been silenced. For years they echoed inside your mind. Some were whispers of your own fear. Others, the echoes of people who couldn't see your destiny. They told you that you were too late. too broken, too small for what God had placed in your heart. Yet you kept walking, one trembling step at a time, until the noise began to fade. Now, you stand in a clarity that no opinion can shake. You've learned that doubt doesn't die through argument, it dies through action. Every time you moved forward, even while afraid, you proved the enemy wrong. The voices that once shouted now tremble at your stillness, because peace is the loudest sound in the spirit. There was a time when their words pierced you like arrows. You internalized every criticism, replayed every failure, and let fear build walls around your courage. But God was there in the background, patiently dismantling those lies one by one. He whispered identity over insecurity, truth over torment, and destiny over doubt. It was never about silencing the external world, it was about healing the inner one. Heaven knew that once your internal dialogue aligned with truth, no external opinion could move you again. That's why the process took time. You weren't just learning how to believe in God, you were learning how to believe in what God said about you. The ancient words recorded in Romans, chapter 8, verse 31, declare, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Beloved, that single verse became your shield. The moment it sank deep into your spirit, the noise lost its authority. You realized you were never fighting for approval, you were walking in assignment. The world may analyze your steps, but heaven authors them. Doubt cannot survive where identity is understood. You've entered a new space now, a silence, not of absence, but of authority. The same mouth that once questioned your worth now speaks with wisdom born of experience. The fears that once held your voice hostage have now become testimonies you share with others. You no longer speak from insecurity, you speak from intimacy with the one who called you. Beloved, there is power in realizing that you do not need to prove what is already proven. You are chosen. You are marked. You are enough. Every time you rise after being misunderstood, heaven writes it down as worship. The confidence you carry is not arrogance, it's awareness of alignment. When you look back, you'll see the pattern clearly. The doubts came strongest right before breakthroughs. The criticism came loudest right before elevation. Every voice that tried to discourage you was unknowingly confirming that you were moving in the right direction. The opposition wasn't random, it was recognition. The darkness saw your potential before you did, and it panicked. But you didn't bow. You didn't quit. You kept praying, kept solving, kept standing. Even when your confidence wavered, your calling didn't. And that is why you're still here. You have outlasted what was meant to out-talk you. Now you speak with a new tone. It's the sound of someone who has been through fire and found peace on the other side. You no longer defend your destiny, you demonstrate it. Your life itself has become an answer to every doubt that was ever spoken against you. Beloved, the time of hesitation is over. You have permission to move forward boldly. You are not who you were when the doubts began. You are seasoned, tested, purified. You've walked through storms and discovered that even the wind obeys the voice that trusts in God. Right now, I want you to do something simple but powerful. If this message resonates within you, if you feel that shift inside your chest where faith begins to drown out fear, then I want you to write these 3 words in the comments. I move forward. Write it not for me, but for yourself. It's not just a phrase, it's a declaration. When you type it, you're stamping a seal on your spirit that says, "No more retreat." You're announcing to heaven and to hell alike that you refuse to live in hesitation any longer. Your obedience is louder than your doubt. Every time someone reads those words, it becomes a ripple in the spirit realm, a reminder that faith is contagious, and that courage multiplies when declared. Let your words echo with power, not punits. Let them testify that the voices of fear have finally lost their throne. Beloved, the doubts that once haunted you have served their purpose. They pushed you toward divine confidence. You no longer seek to prove who you are. You simply walk in it. The silence that surrounds you now isn't emptiness, it's victory. The voices are gone. The storm has settled. And all that remains is the sound of destiny calling your name, chosen one. You are now entering the season of prophetic confirmation, the time when heaven begins to echo what it already whispered in secret. The signs are no longer distant, they're drawing near. You've started to notice it, haven't you? Words that appear at the right time, strangers who speak sentences that feel like memories, songs, verses, and encounters that repeat the same truth until it pierces through your doubt. That's not coincidence, it's coordination. Heaven has always been speaking, but now your ears are tuned differently. The static of fear has faded, and suddenly, every sound carries meaning. The wind, the rhythm of a stranger's words, even the quiet pull in your heart, all of it sings the same refrain. You're on the right path. You've entered the phase where heaven confirms direction through subtle reminders, not loud miracles. The Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Philippians, chapter 1, verse 6, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. That promise, beloved, is unfolding before your eyes. You are walking in the middle of what was once only a promise. You prayed, you waited, you obeyed, and now heaven is showing you glimpses of completion. Every unexpected encounter, every word that feels too specific to be random, is heaven nodding, saying, keep going. And these confirmations are not given to boost your pride, but to steady your purpose. God doesn't send them because he doubts your faith. He sends them because he knows your humanity. He knows you've been faithful in silence and longs to show you that the silence was never absence. He sees that sometimes even the strongest souls need a whisper to keep walking. Think of prophetic confirmation like the gentle tapping of rain on a window. Each drop by itself may seem small, but together they create a rhythm, a divine pattern that says, I'm still here. When the rain falls, it doesn't shout, yet it soaks everything it touches. That's how heaven is speaking to you now, through small consistencies that soak your spirit with assurance. Maybe a stranger used the same phrase you just prayed last night. Maybe you opened a verse that described your exact situation. Maybe peace washed over you in the middle of your worry for no logical reason. These are not accidents, they are divine affirmations. Heaven doesn't shout to the chosen, it whispers, because it knows you're listening. Beloved, you don't need to chase confirmation anymore. When you are aligned with heaven, signs will chase you. The same God who orchestrates galaxies knows how to orchestrate your timeline. He sends reminders, not because you are lost, but because you are loved. Heaven's confirmations are like fingerprints, unique to every soul. For some, it's a recurring dream. For others, a number, a melody, a phrase. God communicates in your personal language because relationship is never generic. Don't dismiss the small signs because you expected thunder. Sometimes heaven proves its presence in the whispering breeze. You are living in a chapter of recognition. Beloved, the world around you is beginning to respond to the frequency of your obedience. People who once overlooked you now feel drawn to you. Situations that once resisted you are opening effortlessly. That's not charm, that's alignment. When purpose aligns with divine timing, even resistance turns into resonance. And as you recognize heaven's confirmations, remember to honor them with gratitude. Every confirmation is an answered question, a reassurance that your steps are ordered. When you acknowledge it, it multiplies. Gratitude is the magnet that pulls more revelation into your life. You are no longer wandering, you are walking in rhythm with heaven. Each confirmation is a heartbeat, pulsing through your path, reminding you that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And beloved, if this message has found you in a moment of doubt, let it serve as your personal confirmation. Heaven hasn't forgotten you. It has been preparing to reveal evidence that you were never alone in the waiting. You were not abandoned in the silence. You were being tuned to hear the melody beneath it. Now, if these words stirred something within you, if you felt seen, affirmed, or reminded of a truth you had almost forgotten, then let your response be one of quiet gratitude. Like, share, and subscribe, not out of habit, but out of harmony. Each action becomes a ripple, a signal to heaven that you are listening and aligned. When you share, you become part of someone else's confirmation. When you subscribe, you say to heaven, keep speaking, I'm still here. When you like, you place a silent amen in the atmosphere. Beloved, the signs are no longer distant. They are surrounding you. Step forward, gently, knowing that every detail has been divinely arranged. Heaven is confirming your calling in ways too intricate for coincidence and too personal for imitation. Listen closely. Chosen one, the next whisper you hear may be your next direction. Chosen one. This is the chapter of revelation, the moment when heaven begins to unmask what was once hidden from your eyes. The unmasking of the pretenders has begun. It is not about vengeance or exposure for spectacle. It is about purification before elevation. Heaven always removes imitation. For too long, you walked beside people who smiled with their mouths but envied with their hearts. You trusted voices that echoed affirmation in public, yet whispered doubt behind your back. You gave your light freely to those who only wanted to borrow it. But now, God is clearing your circle. It may feel like loss, but it is deliverance. This process was never meant to embarrass you. It was designed to protect you. Some people were attached to your pain, but allergic to your progress. They were comfortable as long as you stayed broken. Because your healing would expose their comfort in mediocrity, heaven saw that, and in mercy, began to shake the ground. What could not stand in truth had to fall away. You may have wondered why certain relationships ended suddenly, why certain faces vanished when your spirit began to rise. Do not grieve the departure. It is not rejection, it is revelation. The masks had to fall before your next assignment could unfold. God will never allow you to step into destiny surrounded by divided loyalties. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, Proverbs chapter 20, verse 6. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find, beloved. That verse is not cynicism, it is clarity. It reminds you that loyalty cannot be manufactured. It must be proven under pressure. The people meant to walk with you through destiny will not flinch in difficulty. They will celebrate your victories without envy and correct you without competition. Heaven is sifting your connections so that your community reflects your calling. The unmasking hurts because you loved sincerely. You poured genuine affection into people who only mirrored it. But even this pain serves purpose. It purifies your discernment. You now know the difference between proximity and partnership, between those who like you for access and those who love you for authenticity. Every divine elevation requires separation. It's the pruning process. Jesus spoke of the cutting away of branches that bear no fruit, so that what remains can thrive. You were not abandoned, you were upgraded. The loneliness you feel is not emptiness, it's clarity. For the first time, your spirit is breathing air, free from manipulation. The pretenders are being unmasked, not to shame them, but to free you. Because as long as counterfeit loyalty surrounds you, true covenant cannot find you. Heaven cannot release new alliances into an environment contaminated by pretense. That's why some connections dissolved when they did so, that what is real could finally reach you. Beloved, remember this. Not everyone who leaves is your enemy, and not everyone who stays is your friend. Wisdom is not in judgment, but in observation. Watch how people respond to your stillness. Notice who checks on your peace, not just your progress. The ones who value your growth will remain, even when your gifts aren't on display. This unveiling is divine mercy, disguised as discomfort. Heaven is not exposing people to punish them, it is exposing patterns to protect you. You prayed for truth, and this is how truth arrives slowly, surgically, mercifully. And though this revelation may sting, let gratitude outweigh grief, because once the false falls away, space opens for the faithful. Once imitation leaves, authenticity enters. Once flattery is removed, friendship can flourish. Beloved, you will soon find that the pruning of relationships was also the pruning of pride. You are being refined into someone who depends on God more than human approval. Your circle may shrink, but your anointing will expand. The smaller the crowd, the clearer the voice of heaven becomes. You are not being punished by loss. You are being positioned for legacy. The stage of destiny cannot bear the weight of pretense. God is preparing a circle that reflects His covenant people who see your soul, not just your spotlight. Those who left made room for those who will lift. So, do not mourn what heaven has removed. Do not chase what God has released. Trust that everything leaving your life right now is making space for what you prayed for long ago. Beloved, stand firm in peace. The masks are falling, but the truth remains, and the truth is your freedom. Chosen one. There are moments in eternity when even angels pause to watch a human obey. You have reached that moment. You stepped where angels feared to tread. You dared to do what heaven had written, but few were willing to perform. You obeyed not because you understood, but because you trusted. There is a holy trembling in the unseen realm when a soul chooses surrender over safety. You crossed a line that fear could no longer follow. Every step you took in faith created ripples through dimensions. What others called risk, heaven called worship. You did not wait for the perfect conditions. You moved when there was only conviction. You obeyed when logic screamed, "Stop." You followed when reason said, "Wait." You stood when even silence felt like rejection. That, beloved, is what separates the called from the chosen. Heaven honors not just faith, it honors fearless faith. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Elijah, as recorded in the first book of Kings. Chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. You, beloved, chose your answer. You stopped wavering. You stopped waiting for consensus. You followed him straight into fire, straight through fear, straight past comfort. And when you did, heaven stood in awe. There are places in obedience where even angels stand back in reverence because they know what it costs. A human heart to say yes. You gave up what was familiar to embrace what was eternal. You walked away from predictable safety into divine uncertainty. Yet every step was recorded in heaven's archives as a testimony of trust. Obedience to you was not a performance, it was warfare. It cost relationships, comfort, and even reputation. You learned that saying yes to God sometimes means saying goodbye to everything else. And yet, even in the loss, you found something greater, peace that cannot be bought, and strength that cannot be faked. Beloved, your yes changed atmospheres. It rerouted destiny, not only for you, but for those who will come after you. The obedience of one chosen one rewrites the legacy of many. Your courage planted seeds of freedom that generations will harvest. The angels called it obedience. Heaven calls it history. You see, when you stepped into your calling, you entered a realm of authority that even creation recognizes. You are no longer merely surviving, you are governing. Heaven does not just applaud your obedience, it entrusts you with influence. Your footsteps now echo like thunder in the unseen. Do you realize what you've done? You've proven that faith is stronger than fear. You've proven that surrender can conquer strategy. You've proven that a yielded heart is mightier than a crowned head. The earth will never be the same because one person chose obedience over opinion. Beloved, there's a fragrance that follows such obedience, the aroma of trust. It's the same scent that filled the upper room when the disciples waited on the promise, the same fragrance that filled the garden when Jesus said, "Not my will, but yours." You carry that scent now. It lingers wherever you go. It announces that heaven has been here. This level of surrender cannot be taught. It must be lived. You have become the living proof that obedience is still possible in a world addicted to compromise. Your faith has become a sermon without words. And your walk has become a witness louder than any microphone. Heaven's records now carry your name among the faithful, the ones who dared to follow when everything else said no. You are part of the lineage of Abraham, who left his homeland without a map, of Esther, who risked her life for deliverance, of Peter, who stepped out of the boat into impossible waters. You are in that company. Beloved, the ones who obeyed, even trembling, and though you may not yet see the full fruit of your obedience, know this, heaven has already begun multiplying it. What feels small to you now will one day be seen as monumental. You planted your yes into eternity, and eternity will not forget. Now, as a prophetic act of alignment, let your spirit respond. If you can feel this word stirring deep within you, then write the number 555 inches, the comments below. 5 is the number of grace, and the repetition is heaven's reminder that grace has carried you into this bold obedience. When you type 555, you are not writing numbers, you are releasing agreement. You are declaring, "Grace empowered my yes, and I will not turn back." Let it be your seal in the earth, a visible echo of what heaven already witnessed. Beloved, angels once paused when they saw your courage, but now heaven smiles. Knowing you are unstoppable, you stepped where angels feared to tread, and because you did, others will find the courage to follow. Chosen one. Heaven's scrolls are being updated with your name. Every act of obedience, every whispered prayer, every moment you chose faith over fear has been recorded not as mere history, but as holy inheritance. When you stepped into alignment with divine purpose, something eternal shifted. The line of your lineage was rewritten. You became the turning point for generations. Heaven does not measure legacy by material success or earthly applause. It measures it by impact that ripples beyond time. Your surrender has begun to alter stories that haven't even been lived yet. The spiritual records, the scrolls of remembrance now, bear testimony that you were the one who said, "Enough." You ended what your ancestors could not, and you began what your descendants will thank God for. It is written in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16. Then those who feared the Lord talked with each other, and the Lord listened and heard. A scroll of remembrance was written in his presence concerning those who feared the Lord and honored his name. Beloved, heaven has written your obedience in that scroll. It stands as eternal evidence that when the battle reached your generation, you did not run. You stood. You worshipped through warfare. You prayed when others panicked. You loved when bitterness seemed easier. You became the bridge heaven needed between what was broken and what will be blessed. The moment you chose obedience, heaven began updating records. Where curses once reigned, blessings now begin to flow. Where shame once lingered, honor begins to rise. Where silence ruled, the sound of restoration now echoes. You became heaven's pen, rewriting your family's chapter. You see, beloved, every lineage carries both promise and pain. Some inherit wealth, others wounds. Some inherit blessings, others burdens. But the chosen carry both, so they can transform what was bitter into sweet. You were sent into your bloodline as divine correction, a living amendment to what was out of order. That's why your journey has been so heavy. It was never just your fight. You were standing in the gap for many. Generational patterns trembled the day you said, "It ends with me." Every addiction, every cycle of doubt, every curse of fear, heaven recorded the moment they lost their legal right. You became the new signature on your family's scroll. You didn't just break chains, you burned the blueprint. Heaven rejoices, not just because of what you overcame, but because of what will never have to be repeated. The children who will come after you will walk lighter because you walked faithfully. The prayers you whispered will echo through their future like a compass pointing them back to the light. Beloved, legacy is not about what you leave behind, it's about what you begin. And you have begun something holy. Your yes has released rivers of redemption. The places that once brought shame to your name are now becoming altars of glory. Heaven is rewriting not just your life, but your lineage. You have stepped into what Scripture calls a new name. You no longer carry the label of the wounded or the forgotten. You carry the title of the redeemed. Angels recognize you not by your pain, but by your perseverance. Your story has been edited by grace, and yet, even now, heaven continues to write. Every day you choose kindness over bitterness, forgiveness over revenge, peace over panic. Another line is added. The scrolls are alive with motion because your obedience keeps producing legacy. Think of it this way: your life is ink, and every choice is a letter in the poem God is writing through you. Some lines are written with tears, others with laughter, but all of them end with redemption. When heaven reads your name, it reads victory. Do not underestimate what has been accomplished in the unseen. The generational debris that once clouded your path is being cleared. Where confusion once reigned, clarity now flows. Heaven has documented every silent battle, every selfless act, every sacrifice. You are not forgotten in the archives of eternity. You are featured, beloved. Your family's story was waiting for someone who would trust God more than tradition, someone who would trade comfort for covenant, someone who would not repeat pain, but redeem it. You are that one. Heaven calls you the restorer of paths to dwell in. So, walk in peace. Your name is written. Your legacy is secure, and your obedience has echoed through eternity. What was once fragmented is being rewritten in wholeness. You are no longer carrying the weight of your ancestors' unfinished prayers. You are carrying their fulfillment. The scrolls of heaven bear witness. The story has changed. Chosen one. The air around you has changed. The heaviness that once clung to your spirit is lifting because the mantle of fire has descended. Heaven has released a new anointing, one that burns away what was borrowed and reveals what is authentically yours. This fire is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to distinguish you. You have carried many mantles in your life: responsibility, expectation, duty. But this one is different. It does not weigh you down. It ignites you. It sets your spirit ablaze with divine purpose. You are no longer walking by memory. You are moving by revelation. The fire has fallen, and it has chosen you as its altar. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 9, "But if I say, I will not mention his word, or speak any more in his name, his word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I am weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot." No. The mantle of fire is both gift and test. It refines as it empowers. It consumes pride while releasing power. It burns away fear so that only faith remains. That is why you have felt both the weight of warfare and the warmth of glory at the same time. Fire purifies and empowers in one motion. Heaven is shaping you through both flame and favor. This mantle comes to those who have endured the wilderness faithfully. It descends on those who have been emptied, those who have allowed themselves to be stripped of self-sufficiency. God will not place divine fire on altars built by ego, but on you, refined, humbled, obedient. He can pour it without hesitation. Beloved, this fire is your new language. You will speak, and hearts will awaken. You will pray, and atmospheres will shift. You will sing or write or move, and light will follow. It will not be your eloquence or strength that changes things, but the fire of heaven flowing through you. Do not fear this intensity. The fire does not come to consume your personality, it comes to consume your limitations. It burns through hesitation and transforms ordinary actions into eternal impact. You are not losing yourself in this fire. You are finding who you truly are. There is something sacred about carrying fire in a world that loves the cold. Your presence will challenge apathy. Your words will disturb comfort. Some will resist the flame, because light always exposes. But do not dim it to make others comfortable. The fire is not negotiable. It is necessary. It was not given to make you admired. It was given to make you effective. You may notice that your desires are changing. What once excited you now feels empty. What once entertained you now seems trivial. That is the work of the fire. It recalibrates your appetite. It sets your heart toward eternal things. You will find joy, not in what you gain, but in what God gains through you. This mantle is also a magnet. It will draw the right people toward you, those who recognize divine fire and do not fear it. But it will also repel what cannot coexist with truth. Relationships, habits, and places that do not align with your new frequency will fall away naturally. Do not mourn what the fire removes. It only takes what cannot survive your next level. Beloved, remember that fire spreads. The flame placed in you is not meant to remain contained. Everywhere you go, sparks will leap into others. Your obedience will ignite boldness in those around you. Your story will awaken sleeping callings. This is the legacy of the anointed. Your life becomes a living torch, lighting paths for those still walking in darkness. But handle this fire with reverence. Power without humility becomes wildfire. Stay anchored in prayer. Let gratitude be your safeguard. Keep returning to the altar daily, allowing God to tend the flame. The world does not need your performance. It needs your purity. The mantle of fire is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong awakening. It will continue to grow as you surrender. The same fire that descended upon you will guide you forward. It will illuminate what to release and what to pursue. It will be your compass when logic fails. Beloved, heaven trusts you with this. Few are chosen for fire because few are willing to be refined by it. But you said yes, and heaven answered with flame. You are no longer merely chosen, you are commissioned. Walk forward as one ablaze with purpose, carrying light where the world has forgotten warmth. Let your life become the evidence that when heaven sets a heart on fire, darkness has nowhere left to hide. Chosen one. Creation itself is beginning to respond to your command. You've moved beyond mere survival. You've stepped into stewardship. Heaven no longer has to convince you of who you are now. It is teaching you how to use what you've been given. You are learning to speak the language of authority, not arrogance. When you open your mouth, the atmosphere listens. Everything in creation recognizes the voice of the Creator, and that voice now echoes through you. You have become a vessel through which heaven governs the earth. The wind, the waves, the timing of things they sense when you speak from alignment rather than ambition. That's why your words have begun to carry weight. You're not just praying, you're partnering. It was proclaimed in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, verse 39. Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." The wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Beloved, that same authority flows in your veins. You were created in the image of the One who calmed storms, not by shouting louder, but by knowing who He was. The storm does not obey noise, it obeys identity. When you speak from awareness of divine sonship, nature itself shifts. Now heaven is training you in the art of spiritual governance. This is not control, it's cooperation. You are learning how to align with divine rhythm so fully that your desires mirror heaven's will. When you declare peace, you're not wishing, you're enforcing heaven's order. When you call forth abundance, you're not begging, you're activating what already exists in the unseen. You've reached the level where faith and authority intertwine. Your words have become seeds, and your belief is the rain that makes them grow. Be mindful of your speech. Beloved, the same tongue that can call forth light can also shape shadow. Speak life with intention. Every phrase you release is a brushstroke painting your reality. You've begun to notice it, haven't you? Situations start to bend toward peace when you enter the room. Conversations that once bred confusion now end in clarity. It isn't luck, it's alignment. Heaven's frequency hums through your life, and creation responds like an orchestra, waiting for the conductor's cue. This is what it means to reign in grace, to walk into chaos and see order, to face drought and sense hidden rivers, to meet resistance and release calm. You have been entrusted with divine influence, not to dominate, but to demonstrate what heaven looks like on earth. Beloved, you are the lighthouse in the storm, not the ship lost within it. Your very presence whispers direction to those drifting nearby. The light you carry doesn't shout, it shines. And when others are drawn to your glow, they aren't seeing you, they're witnessing heaven through you. You don't need to strive for visibility anymore. Flames don't chase eyes, eyes find flames. Just burn steadily, purely, faithfully. Creation will come to you, guided by the light you release. And as you move deeper into this calling, remember, authority without humility is noise. Power without compassion is empty. The true strength of the chosen lies not in their volume, but in their vision. You lead not by force, but by presence. When people watch you now, they will feel something sacred, peace that settles, courage that stirs, love that confronts. That's how heaven leads. You are a mirror of divine order, a reflection of harmony. Beloved, as this mantle of authority deepens, treat it as a symphony, not a spotlight. Every word, every act of kindness, every prayer whispered for another, these are notes in heaven's melody flowing through you. And if these words reach you like a mirror, if they remind you of who you've quietly become, let your heart respond with gratitude. Pause and breathe in the truth. You are walking evidence that faith can shape reality. Then, if this message touched your spirit, let that gratitude overflow gently like water over stones. Tap like, not out of routine, but as a quiet amen to heaven's movement. Share this word as a candle passed to another hand, still trembling in the dark. Subscribe, not to a channel, but to a journey, one where each word continues to build your strength, your understanding, your calling. And finally, beloved, write your reflection in the comments. Speak from your heart. You don't need perfect words, just honest ones. Someone else will read them and feel less alone. Your story might be the confirmation their soul has been waiting for. Because when creation responds to your command, it's not just about you, it's about others finding their voice through your example. You've become a living echo of heaven's authority on earth. Stand tall, shine softly, and remember, The world listens differently when a chosen one speaks. Chosen one. The moment has come when the world will begin to know who sent you. What was once hidden behind the veil of process is now emerging into clarity. The quiet years of preparation are giving way to the visible unfolding of purpose. You are not stepping into fame. You are stepping into fulfillment. Heaven has always worked this way, first in silence, then in revelation. The seeds you sowed in secret are beginning to bloom publicly. Those who once questioned your path will soon see the fingerprints of God all over your story. It will not be about proving them wrong. It will be about proving that grace was always right. Every hidden act of faithfulness, every prayer you whispered when no one saw, every sacrifice you made when no one thanked you has built the foundation beneath your feet. Now, that foundation is strong enough to hold the weight of visibility. What you are stepping into is not sudden, it is seasoned. Heaven never rushes what it intends to last. The world will begin to recognize what heaven has long celebrated: a life fully yielded, a vessel fully willing. The evidence of divine favor will not be in your possessions, but in your peace. The glory upon you will not sparkle, it will steady. The true mark of heaven is not loudness, it is light that lingers after you leave the room. As was declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven." Beloved, your light was never meant to compete with darkness. It was meant to reveal direction. You are becoming a living compass, a reflection of heaven's consistency in an inconsistent world. The way you forgive, the way you listen, the way you move in quiet confidence, all of it preaches without words. The world will not understand the cost of your calm, the price of your peace, or the depth of your devotion, but they will feel it. They will sense something sacred that logic cannot explain. That's how the world knows who sent you, not through explanation, but through evidence. You will find that your influence grows not through effort, but through authenticity. People are drawn to peace that feels like home. They will come not because you have answers, but because you carry presence. That presence is heaven's signature. It announces the one who walks with you. The recognition that is coming is not about applause, it's about assignment. Visibility is responsibility. When heaven entrusts you with attention, it expects you to redirect it upward. You are not called to collect admiration, but to reflect adoration. When the spotlight shines, turn it into an altar. Beloved, the world will soon see in you what they cannot explain: resilience that outlasts reason, joy that contradicts circumstance, love that refuses to run out. You will be the sermon that never ends, the evidence that God still chooses ordinary people for extraordinary purposes. Do not fear this unveiling. You are not stepping into exposure, you are stepping into expression. What is being revealed is not a new you, but the true you, the version heaven saw all along. The storms you survived were not in vain. They purified your reflection so that when the light hits you, it refracts purely. And yet, even as the world begins to recognize your name, remember to stay rooted. The higher the tree grows, the deeper its roots must reach. Keep humility as your home, prayer as your posture, and gratitude as your guard. The same God who raised you can sustain you. You may find yourself in spaces you once only dreamed of, rooms of influence, conversations of impact, But do not forget the ground you came from. The wilderness was your teacher. The silence, your sculptor. Let the lessons remain as your compass, even in abundance. Beloved, the world will soon witness what heaven already knows, that your rise was not luck, it was lineage. You are part of a divine bloodline of faith, endurance, and purpose. Your story will serve as evidence that obedience produces outcome, that surrender leads to success, and that humility opens the highest doors. The unveiling has begun. You will not have to announce it. Your presence will testify. The peace on your face will speak louder than any introduction. The wisdom in your words will confirm that heaven sent you. The love you carry will prove that you have walked with God. Let this truth settle deeply in your spirit. You are not stepping into the world stage. You are stepping onto heaven's platform. What you do next is not performance, it's prophecy. And when people look at you and wonder how you survived, how you shine, how you stand so steady, let your life whisper the answer. It was never me. It was always him. And chosen one. The moment has come that all of heaven has been waiting. For the moment you complete the assignment that once terrified you. The journey that began in silence now ends in song. You have walked through wilderness and warfare, through shadow and revelation, through tears and transformation. And now you stand on the mountain of fulfillment. Heaven stands and applauds. It was never about the speed of your arrival, but the steadiness of your obedience. Every step you took, even the trembling ones, was an act of worship. Every delay was divine design. Every detour was direction in disguise. Heaven knew this day would come, the day you would finish what was started in you before time began. The ancient words recorded in 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7 declare, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Lo, beloved, those words now echo through your spirit. They are not distant scripture. They are your lived testimony. You have fought well, not against flesh, but against fear. You have run faithfully not toward applause, but toward purpose. And you have kept your faith not untouched, but unbroken. The crown awaiting you is not merely reward, it is recognition that you endured with grace. Heaven's applause is not thunderous, it's holy. It sounds like wind passing through eternity, like light breaking through still air. The angels who once guarded you in silence now lift their voices in reverence, because they saw it all. The nights you almost gave up, the days you walked unseen, the moments you clung to God when there was nothing left to hold. They saw your humanity, and they witnessed divine strength. Clothe it in glory. You have become what heaven envisioned, a vessel through which eternity touches time. Every scar you carry glows with the memory of mercy. Every battle you survived has become a song in heaven's language. You are not just a survivor, you are a testimony sculpted by grace. Beloved, completion is not the end of purpose, it is its continuation in new form. Heaven never closes a chapter without opening another. You have reached the point where obedience becomes overflow. You no longer strive to fulfill now, you flow to reveal. The assignment that once felt external has become internal. You are the message now. Your life speaks louder than prophecy. The peace you carry prophesies restoration. The joy that rests in your eyes testifies of victory. The strength in your voice declares that faith outlasts fire. You have become the embodiment of answered prayer, living proof that the promises of God never return void. The journey refined you into something rare, stillness in motion, power wrapped in humility, authority balanced by love. The world may see success, heaven sees surrender. You learned what few ever do, that true greatness is born in gratitude, not grandeur. And now, as heaven applauds, the earth will begin to echo. You will see fruit emerge in places you once sowed in tears. The seeds you planted in faith long ago will bloom in unexpected soil. People you never met will be changed by prayers you forgot you prayed. That is the reach of divine obedience. It ripples beyond your lifetime. Beloved, let the applause of heaven be your reminder that none of it was wasted. The pain, the pruning, the patience, they were all necessary ingredients in the alchemy of destiny. You are standing in the fulfillment of what once felt impossible. And as you exhale, heaven inhales your worship. Every season had meaning. The silence taught you discernment. The storms taught you stability. The waiting taught you wisdom. The warfare taught you worship. Now, standing in the aftermath of everything, you can finally see it, the thread of God's faithfulness woven through every fragment. This is what divine completion looks like, not perfection, but peace. You no longer need to chase validation because heaven itself has validated you. You have become the evidence that endurance produces glory. The applause you hear in your spirit is not for performance, it's for persistence. Heaven does not clap for talent, it claps for trust. You trusted when you couldn't trace the plan. You followed when you didn't understand the path. You kept walking when it would have been easier to sit down. That is why heaven stands now, because you stood then. Beloved, this applause will echo through eternity. It will not fade, because obedience never expires. What you accomplished through surrender will continue to multiply long after your name is forgotten by men. The sound of your yes will live in generations yet unborn. Rest now, not in fatigue, but in fulfillment. You have reached the rhythm where striving ends and stewardship begins. The same God who guided you here will guide you further still. This is not the closing of destiny, it is the unveiling of legacy. Heaven's applause is not noise, it's the sound of recognition. The Creator applauding the creation that chose to become everything He dreamed. The Father smiling over a child who trusted enough to follow every command, no matter the cost. And though the applause of heaven is unseen, you will feel it in the quiet moments, in the peace that no chaos can steal, in the strength that renews itself each morning, in the soft knowing that you finished well. Beloved, you have become the living symphony of obedience. The notes of your life rise through eternity, blending with the choir of the redeemed. The assignment is complete, but the music continues. Heaven stands. Angels watch in reverent silence. The scroll closes. The race is run. The fire remains. You have finished. Chosen one, and all of heaven applauds. Chosen one. If these words have found a home in your spirit, let them settle there like soft light at the end of a long journey. You have walked through every valley of this message, from pain to purpose, from silence to song. And now you stand, radiant aware, awake, alive. The story is not ending here, it is expanding through you. If this journey has stirred something within you, if it reminded you that heaven is still moving through ordinary hearts, then let gratitude become your echo. Tap like as a gentle amen. Share this message as one candle lighting another, and leave your reflection in the comments so others can glimpse the footprints of your faith. Your words may become the seed that lifts another chosen one from despair. And if you have not yet done so, subscribe not merely to a channel, but to the rhythm of divine reminders that keep your heart aligned with heaven's voice. Together, we build a sanctuary of faith across distance, a living altar of words where hope never runs dry. Walk forward now. Beloved, heaven applauds, the earth listens, and your story continues to shine.